Good evening everyone and welcome along to League of Europe. We are here for Season 7, Division 1, round number 7 of the Championship as we take in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix from the Jeddah Corniche Circuit, or the Jeddah Street Circuit, however you want to call it. My name is James Hay, going to be taking you to the stream as always on a Saturday night, and joining me in the commentary box as always, it is the 4-time League of Europe F1 champion, it is NSX Montana. Montana, how are you doing?
Good evening everyone, yeah, looking forward to this track. Never seen a league race around here, so should be exciting. And looking at the last weeks, we've got a hell of a race ahead of us.
We have got a hell of a race ahead of us, and I can honestly stress around here, Jeddah is the best track on the game for racing. It is simply brilliant, and you'll be in for an absolute treat, as will our viewers, of course, here tonight. Justas, of course, leading the way in the championship, of course, after his second place finish. If you didn't see what happened, of course, last week in Britain, where on earth were you, first and foremost? I will tell you the result now, though, for benefit's sake. Campbell won, Justas in second, and Izza finished in... Was it Izza that finished in third? No, it was Nathan that finished in third. My apologies. Justas still leading the way to 5-point gap over Campbell coming into tonight. 91 points for Justas, 86 points for Campbell. Jensen there in third, and a tie with Verstappen in third on 42 points. Yildirim there in fifth on 41. Nathan in sixth, of course, after his first podium of the season, there in sixth on 38. Izza in seventh on 37. Connor in eighth on 35. Hopefully he's back tonight as well. Rocco in ninth on 24. And Neo in 10th on 23. Then it's Dylan, Killablu, Jerome, Packer and Ruteran off the top 15. Stephen Osh, Kumblai, Pease, Marine and Nuth ran off the top 20. And then the only other driver to pick up points this season is Rudy. And Montana, of course, coming in tonight. Justas holding that 5-point gap, but also we've got a brand new driver in IFR, Fleddy, joining the ranks. And I've commentated on him in TTML. Know him. He's a pretty quick driver. How do you think he'll cope, obviously, filling in for the Alpine squad tonight?
I've absolutely no idea. I think I've heard his name before, but I've never seen him race. Looking forward to see what he can do. But, well, in this league everything can happen, depending on a couple of tenders. So we'll see how he fares against the top of the top.
Yeah, definitely so. And obviously, speaking about that 5-point gap at the top of the standings as well, Justas obviously got outgunned by Campbell last week in Britain, made that move, of course, to absolute perfection later on in the race in Britain. How do you think the Scotsman will cope, and the Lithuanian will cope for that fact as well, around here in Saudi Arabia? Because it is a very tight street circuit.
I think they both don't really like the track, so I'm actually counting on a couple of other guys to score the big points. But I expect them to be close on pace again. We'll have to see if they can keep the nerves through the tight stuff to going to the walls. But yeah, they'll definitely carry on fighting in the championship for today.
I know you were saying before the stream actually started that Connor, of course, could be one of the actual shocks, because he's been really rapid apparently in practice, which is very good to see. Verstappen is ready up in the lobby, which means we're good to go, it seems. Constructor standings as well coming in tonight. Mercedes leading the way on 128 points, Ferrari in second on 102, Alpine in third on 84, AlphaTauri in fourth on 77, Red Bull in fifth on 61, Alfa Romeo in sixth on 53, then it's McLaren in seventh on 44, Aston Martin in 8th on 34, Williams in 9th on 21, and Haas in 10th on 12 points. And of course, no longer the Ural Kali Haas F1 team, no longer, of course, affiliated with Nikita Mazepin. I know that pronunciation was absolutely terrible, but obviously Haas withdrawing their sponsorship and everything, and given the current political situation, I think, in the world at the minute, right call or not?
Well, I'm not a political expert and stuff like this, so I don't know about the behind-the-scenes stuff, but definitely a shame for Mazepin. As a sports guy, you don't really have that much influence over politics of a country, but decisions have been made, and now it's just about excitement of what replacement we'll find, and for the car sponsor and also drivers. So looking forward to that, but a bit of a shame, obviously, the whole situation. But that's not our business, that's just the general situation.
Yeah, definitely not. And I think, honestly, in terms of the political situation, we of course stand with the people of Ukraine, and I know there's a lot of news been happening, obviously, in the last week or so, the last 10 days, in fact, and forever in our thoughts will be the people of Ukraine, of course, coming into tonight, and of course we do stand with Ukraine here in League of Europe. However, we are here in Jeddah, of course, in Saudi Arabia, 6.1 kilometres and then 3.8 miles, 27 corners awaiting our guys out on track, and this is a circuit where, if you get it wrong, it really goes bust for everyone.
Yeah, it really hurts, especially the tyres and the wings. We'll probably see a couple of them flying. A lot of left-handers because they don't have rights in Saudi Arabia, but yeah. Oh, that was a bad one. But yeah, interesting track. You count probably about 12 key corners that are the important ones. The other ones are just absolutely flat kings. Bit sketchy when you overtake, but really exciting. The battling looked very promising in practice as well. Seems to be a DRS train situation happening quite soon as well, but obviously that first sector can be a huge deal breaker, not only in the race but also in qualifying.
Yeah, first sector, Jensen is the first man out on track. I commentated around here in FRL a few weeks back around here in Saudi Arabia, and Jensen and Kazisel had an almighty scrap on the final lap of the race. Jensen was quicker that day. He just about snuck the win over Kazisel, and there was the championship winning victory for him as well there in FRL. And Jensen has been quick. He's obviously on a set of medium compounder size at this moment in time. You were talking to me just before the stream happened, just before the stream started, obviously with the tyre wear. Tyre wear around this track is quite heavy, so drivers, I'm not surprised, going out on a set of mediums early on.
Yeah, it's not necessarily the tyre wear, it's more the temperatures. Mediums can go quite long, but you need to keep the temperatures down after the first sector, because not only is it slowing you down, it's actually dangerous, and it's so easy to lose a car, and then the wings will be gone. So you want to be in a Red Bull with that. But yeah, tyres will be in a situation. I don't think mediums are quick enough in qualifying. Connor said he could do 26s on mediums, but they are almost a second slower, so probably just some banker laps.
Yeah, definitely so. Jensen now around the final corner on the run towards the line, and now prepare for the torture of 27 corners around this track here with Jensen. Right on board with him through turn 1, then to the right-hander of turn 2, flicks the car very nicely right-handed. Oh, he hits the wall, in fact, coming out of turn 2. Now through the left-hander of 3, and then in toward the left-hander again of 4, then through the right-hander of 5. These corners do up quick, so stay counting with me. Through 6, through 7, then through 8 and 9, with the floodlights just lining up the first sector there. So we now come through turn 10 and 11, and that is Jensen pretty much through the first sector. 30.7 through the first sector, should be seen around a 30.5, 30.4 I think as we go through the session, as Jensen now comes to the left-hander of turn number, I've even lost count, coming through turn 13, through 14, and then through the left-hander kink of 15, to the right-hander of 16, to the left-hander of 17. Yes, I do know my 1s to 27s around here as we come now through turn 18, 19, 20. Oh, I'm even out of breath just counting up the corners coming through on this lap. Jensen coming now through the left-hander, left and right. If you get this right, it's perfect. Jensen through 24, then through 25, or this is now 25, and then into the left-hander kink of 26. And of course, before we get to corner 27, the final corner, of course, where Verstappen binned it into the wall in real life. Hamilton, of course, took the win that day. Jensen ran the final corner on the run to the line. We should be expecting 27, 28, I think, from Jensen here in terms of his lap on the run to the line. 27.9 to start off the night, and Packer goes 8 tenths quicker than him on that set of softs, and Nathan, in fact, goes quicker, and Justas even goes quicker with a 26.6. So, already, Justas not playing ball with anyone else, I think, in the field. 26.6, put that down. If that's a banker lap, it's a very quick banker lap.
Yeah, Connor just coming through the first sector. I think you may want to reconnect your microphone, James. It's playing up a little bit. Connor's the first sector, also not too bad. He's running super low wings, so he's obviously losing time there, but now regaining it all. Really good banker lap from Justas, and it's already Justas Campbell again. 1 and 2. Only Neo, the other guy, apart from Jensen on mediums, coming to the line now, finishing his lap. Probably gonna sort out in P8 or 9. Yeah, there we go. Let's go on board with Connor to see if he can match it. Purple middle sector, absolutely sending it.
To the left-hander 26, is that any better, by the way, in terms of a mic?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe it's just on my end, but it's like,
If it's like a robotic crackling, it's normally the party, I think. Connor's coming through the left-hander of turn 27. He's on the run towards the line, and is Connor going to go quickest? No, he falls 400th short compared to Justas. So Justas out on top. Connor there in second, Campbell in third. I think the first lap times are done by everyone. I think Fleddy is out on the lap, if I'm not being too conservative here. He's coming to the right-hander of 17 and 18 now through the left-hander. And we'll see what Fleddy is in terms of his lap time at this moment in time. He's coming towards the middle sector. It is Justas out on top. Connor in second. Campbell there in third. Jab saying it sounds fine to him. So it certainly seems fine to me. Normally when I get crackling, it's normally the party messing up. Fleddy is not on a lap, he's just backed off, coming to the right-hander. In fact, I think he's run out of fuel, if I'm not mistaken. So Fleddy has run out of fuel. Rocco around the final corner. Is he coming back into pit lane? No, he's coming towards the line. Let's see on board with the McLaren, on the run to the line, 28.3. Well, that's, that timing that you're on about, set us off compounded tyres. Most drivers are 1.2, 1.3 seconds clear, especially Justas and Connor, in comparison to the likes of Jensen, who's obviously on that set of mediums.
Yeah, the mediums is not the tyre you want to use in qualifying here, it's just not quick enough. It's quick in the race, especially with the tyre temperatures coming into play, but over one lap, it's just not quite quick enough. As Pieces, I think, is coming out of the last corner now. Looked like quite a clean lap, quite conservative, but just a bank lap, and he decides not to, so yeah, scrap that.
Yep, straight into the pit lane. Izza as well is into the pit lane, and he of course will be looking to try and go towards the top end of the field with his lap times so far. But it's Justas out on top, Connor there in second, Campbell in third, Jeroen there in fourth, Nathan in fifth, so normally the main protagonist in qualifying is up there. Jensen, who I absolutely guarantee is going to be towards the top end, probably the top three by the end of the session. 27.9 on that set of mediums. He's 4/10 quicker than everyone else on that same set of compound tyre. He's now gone out onto a set of soft compound tyre. We should see now improvement from the mediums to the softs.
Yeah, they'll now have to get used to the extra grip they obviously get, especially in the first sector. You really notice that. But after that, he can definitely go up there. I also heard Jensen has got the pace. Just trying to spot the top speeds and writing them down when they go on the second runs, because that will be quite crucial for the race. But yeah, no one on a proper lap, everyone in the pits, and going for the second runs. I'm just going to rejoin the party quickly.
Yep, no worries at all. Jensen now coming to the left-hander of 23, 24, and then to the right-hander of 25. And now we'll see what the Shazoo man is going to do out on track. Montana has left the party. He'll be joined with me very shortly indeed. But it is, of course, Justas out on top, Connor second, Campbell in third. And now we'll ride on board with this lap, on board with Jensen, coming to the left-hander of turn 27. Nearly hits the wall, actually, on the right-hand side, just preparing up for his for his next run, I should say. Is now Jensen on the run, in towards turn number 1. And we'll see what this lap time is going to be. If he's good through the first sector, he's normally quite quick through the rest of the lap, but he's normally on it in terms of the actual pace around here. So we'll see with Jensen now, through the right-hander of turn 2, through the left-hander of turn 3, underneath the grandstand. Oh, hits the wall there slightly. Has he just backed off on his lap? I don't think he has. Through the left-hander of 5, through the right-hander of 6. And again, count them up as we go along, through 7, 8, through 9. And Jensen flying through the sector. Oh, nearly invalidated through there. Now through the left-hander of turn 11. And that is absolutely rapid from Jensen through the first sector to 30 flat through the first sector. Wow, oh, wow, that's a flying first sector from Jensen. Coming to the left-hander of turn 13. And we'll now see what he can do with Connor just off the left-hand side of the track. Again, just clipping the wall slightly on the exit of turn 13. But Jensen now coming through 16 and 17. And again, he's looking absolutely rapid. Very close to the wall once again. And we'll see what Jensen, as we now go off board with him on the run up towards the final couple of corners in this middle sector. And the middle sector is coming up, and he's now 9/10 of a second up, just under a second shy, but he's got a big final sector in him, and I know he does, as AlphaTauri now comes through the left-hander of 26, and then through, of course, the left-hander of turn 27 to end off the lap. But Jensen is flying on this lap. Could he go third here, I think? Maybe ahead of Campbell. We'll see as Jensen now comes through the final corner, really negotiates that well on the run to the line. It might be even quicker than Justas this lap time. Jensen now on the run to the line. goes second, and he's only 8 thousandths off. Very, very close indeed. Justas out on top, and Justas, in fact, is improving 2 thousandths up from the first sector. He's 500ths up now in the middle sector, so we'll see with Justas what he can do. Connor, I believe, has just started up on a lap as well, so Justas looks like he's flying in the Ferrari, currently in first, looking to try and extend his championship lead, of course, here tonight. Campbell is nearest rival down in fourth, but we'll see with Justas. We're already halfway through qualifying. Justas out on top, Jensen second, Connor in third, as Justas now negotiates the final corner. Very, very close to the wall on the right-hand side, as we now see on board with the Lithuanian on the run to the line. Is it 25.5? 26.4, sorry, even. Justas out on top, Jensen now second, and Connor in third, and I feel that with that lap time, I might just take the beating.
Yeah, that was a massive lap. But Campbell also over 3/10 up. Justas using quite medium wings. Jensen on high wings and Connor on low wings, so that will be interesting to keep in mind. Just checking the top speed from Campbell into the last corner. Also running quite medium to high wings. But now coming out the last corner, he was up by quite a lot. So if you can just gain that little bit in the last sector, he's right with Justas. Is it enough? Not quite, but still quite close. And another good second lap from Campbell. Let's see what Connor can do now.
Connor's coming through the final corner. I think he was up in the middle sector, so we'll see what Connor can do. Is he going to put up with Justas? He looks very quick, I've got to say. He's now Connor runs toward the line. I think he could beat Justas here on the run to the line. And he nearly does, but he's only 400ths of a second off. So Justas out on top, Connor in second, Campbell in third, Jensen is back off his lap. Obviously, Nathan is into the picture after invalidating. Packer is invalid. Nuth as well on a lap. Kumblai is not on a lap. I think he's just improved. Dylan has just started one. Verstappen, however, is now 5/10 up through the middle sector. Oh, as he nearly negotiates turn 23 wrong. There is a yellow flag just ahead of him. That's a Ferrari going off to the right-hand side, and that is Justas getting out of the way. So Verstappen now not as quick as some of the guys might have expected. Is he going to go 5th position, I think, with this lap? In fact, he runs so far wide, he's going to prepare up, I think, for another lap here. There's now Verstappen on the run towards the line. He is going to set a lap. He's not going to improve. And he does improve. In fact, he barely improves, but 28.2. I think he backed off in that final sector, though.
Yeah, he went wide to get the run for another lap. You can't do 2 laps in a row. Have to keep the temps down a bit. But yeah, we also saw Peace jumping up to P5, so we got a nice REL pack there in the middle. So yeah, decent laps coming in. We only got 6 drivers in the 26s yet, and the top 4 seem to be in their own league at the moment.
Dylan on a lap as well. He's 2/10 up coming through the first sector. Didn't quite catch what he was in the middle sector, but he's now coming to the left-hander of 26. And then, of course, through 27. If we had the helicopter cam, it is so nice coming through this final sector, honestly, as Dylan now comes through the left-hander of turn 27. And we'll see now as he comes through the final corner what this lap time will be. He's not going to be on the pace of the top runners, I don't think. But Dylan now on the run to the line, expecting to go around Packer sort of area. And he does. He's gone 11th behind Rudy, behind Packer. Good lap time nonetheless by Dylan. That was his 3rd run, I think, on that sort of soft compound tyres, including his outlap, of course. But it is Justas out on top, Connor in second, and Campbell in third. And I mean, look at the top 3, they're covered by 600ths of a second.
Yeah, they're really close together. Then there's Jensen, and then there's the rest, pretty much. So yeah, once again proving why they're leading the championship. Justas and Campbell and Connor showing what he could do if he just kept it clean and delivered his results.
Yeah, definitely. So just trying to see who's actually on board on a lap. Jensen, I think, is furthest on, if I'm not mistaken. No, in fact, Ruta is furthest on. Ruta about to start a lap then. In the Alfa Romeo, 4 minutes and 40 seconds, just under that to go. Justas out on top, Connor in second, Campbell in third. What can Ruta do? He set a good lap, 27 flat. He should go around P's, Jensen sort of area, in around 4th and 5th position, I think, with this lap. So we'll see what the relentless man can do. So now comes to the left-hander of turn number 5, and he gets very close to the wall there, coming to the left-hander. Honestly, he's running a better setup than I am around here, because I would have been into the wall by now. As Ruta now comes to the right-hander of turn 10, the left-hander 11, and he's invalidated. He got it all wrong coming through turn 10. He was a 10th and a half up through the first sector, but Ruta, that just comes to show how limited runoff area you've pretty much got around the first sector, and that is why, inevitably, you were going to pick up an invalidation, as he just has.
Yeah, it's so easy to do that. You need to be so committed and precise. And he lifted a lot in the first second now. So let's just go on board with Jensen now. He starts his lap. cutting turn 1 nicely, getting the rotation turn 2. Actually, not short shifting the 4th, so interesting tactic from him there. And cutting this as much as possible, you can run wide onto the curb. Absolutely have to huck that wall. Then go flat here if the setup allows it. Go into this wall as well.
Beautiful.
Careful not to invalidate here. He lifted a bit much, but still a 30.0. And he's actually backed out. Wow, okay, that's confidence. So he knows he can go quicker than that, although he was only 200s down.
He's got high expectations, I think, honestly, Jensen, of himself, rather than, obviously, other people expecting big expectations from him. I'm certainly expecting big expectations from him here tonight. But he's 11-4, 26-6. Izza's just started up on a lap. He's in the Alfa Romeo, of course. Of course, PSGL F3 driver, if you haven't caught that on a Monday, of course. Izza now coming to the left-hander of turn number 4. Penalty drivers now leaving the time to try and get 2 lap times, I think, in around this track as Izza flies through the first sector, coming to the right-hander of 9. And he's run wide, coming through in towards 10 and 11, and he picks up an invalidation. So unfortunate there, but again, just come to show one invalidation can really ruin your lap, and Izza is not on a lap. Jensen is just coming through the final sector. Packer, I believe, is on a lap as well. He's 10th up through the first sector. It's the American, who hasn't actually fallen asleep this week, which is good to see. He's now coming to the end of the middle sector, and we'll see what his middle sector time is. He's 1100ths down through the middle sector, and Packer, I would think, may be backing off this lap through the final sector, because this doesn't look quick.
Yeah, he could be backing off. Don't think so he is, but he might run out of deployment, you know. He seems to be running quite high wings. So that'll be interesting to see if he just runs out before the line. Can cost you about half a tenth if it's too early. And he just manages to get across the line, and that's a 0.0. Absolutely saw Connor committing at a 29.95 in the first sector, and that with low wings. So prepare yourself for a magical lap here. Absolutely sending it like there's no tomorrow. Using his 100% differential to the fullest extent, and now this is his sector. He was unbeatable in practice here. And then he just has to commit one more time through a chicane. Still 800s up. Just keeping it within the lines.
I don't think
that should be... Yeah.
I don't think he was that quick coming through 23 and 24 there. I think he's degraded some of the speedaways. Now he comes through in towards 27, the final corner. We'll see if he has degraded that speed away. For me, he's degraded the speed too much, but coming through the final corner, on the run to the line, what do I know if this is going to be the fastest lap of the qualifying? And it is, 26.2. So... ignore what I completely said about degrading the speed away. Connor goes quickest by 0.2 of a second compared to Justas. Campbell coming through the first sector. Jensen is not on the lap. I think he's actually invalidated. So Jensen's back into picture, and that is him done in the session. Campbell coming through the first sector. We'll see what the Mercedes can do. Justas, by the way, is on an out lap at this moment in time as well. The Scotsman through the first sector. 29.9 through the first sector. And I think Campbell was quicker than Connor in the first sector as well. So the middle sector and the final sector's really got a lie up here for the Scotsman. The bit of front wing damage actually just coming off the left-hander of 13. It looked like a Haas's front wing, possibly. So might have been, I was going to say your own, but it's not. But it's somebody, as Campbell's invalidated.
Yeah, it's so easy to invalidate in that corner. Justas sliding through the first chicane. We saw Campbell using high wings, so he's absolutely rapid in that first sector. And Justas goes wide, so is that qualifying over for Justas?
Invalid.
Yeah. Yeah. And also for Campbell. So, unless we see the biggest upset of the season, we've got our pole sitter. Speaking of, Nathan has gotten some poles this season. He's up by over a tenth in the first sector, so don't count him out yet, but still on a 27.0, quite far off and missing the apex by absolute miles. But just keeping on going in this lap, but yeah, mistakes everywhere at the moment.
Yeah, it's so difficult to try and get multiple lap times in as Izza has retired, I think, coming into the pit lane. Nathan, I don't think, was up in the middle sector there. He's now coming to the right-hander of 24, through the double kink of 25 and 26, and of course through the final left-hander of 27. Connor, by the way, is just going slow on the right-hand side. He feels like he's done enough. I certainly feel like he's done enough because it's quite a wide-open qualifying, to be honest. Nathan out of the final corner, on the run to the line. He's nowhere near Connor's sort of lap time as now Nathan runs to the line. We saw Neo go up to 11th there, on the run to the line. He does improve. He goes 5th. Good lap time by Nathan, but nobody really improving. It's at the end of qualifying. Dylan's actually up coming through the final corner in towards 27, so we'll see what the McLaren can do. And we'll see as well, Verstappen, I think, was coming to the line just ahead of him, and Verstappen goes 15, so not a bad lap from him. Dylan on the run to the line, doesn't even improve in the end, and Noother's off a lap. I think Killably was done with as well. That is the end of qualifying. It is Connor out on top, Justas there in second, Campbell there in third, and Connor, you said it was rapid before we got into the session. He's rapid during the session as well, and he's on pole by nearly 0.2 per second.
Yeah, massive lap from him, and then the two championship contenders probably taking a bit safer than him. Nothing to lose for Connor, but a lot to lose for those guys. So great job for them to keep P2 and 3. We just saw with Verstappen the issue of it being so close. He lifted a bit to get to P11, slowed down maybe a tenth too much, and there he is in P15.
Yeah, P15 is right on the bubble as well, down right in 15th position. He's going to be struggling to try and match, obviously. He's going to be starting on a fresh compound of tyre, but it's going to be so difficult because it's a big old DRS train around here, and if you get caught on this DRS train, and there's no splits in this DRS train, it's going to be a very, very much like a first half, second half split, where the second half of the race, after the pit stops, you really come into your own, and the guys further down the field, no matter what tyre you're on, it's going to be so difficult, I think, for them to obviously try and get through the field and try and get overtake still. We'll see now, though, and run you through the grid order, as it will come up on my screen very shortly indeed, hopefully. Connor out on top from Justas there in second, Campbell there in third, 2.5 tenths covering the top three. That's a big gap in qualifying. Jensen there in fourth, right up there in the vanguard. Fleddy in fifth on his debut. Good lap from him. Nathan there in sixth, Pease in seventh, Jerome in eighth, Wooter in ninth, Packer around off the top 10, Rudy in 11th, Neo in 12th, Dylan there in 13th, Nuth, who's been running the Ukrainian flag this week in all of his races, in 14th, Verstappen there in 15th, Kumbla there in 16th, Rocco in 17th, Killer Blue in 18th, and Izza, who didn't get a lap time even on the board, down there in 19th position. But it's Connor out on top, Justas second, Campbell in third. I think normal services resumed after the end of qualifying there.
Yep, people delivered that delivered all season long. Normal services resumed, and they'll probably stay together in the race as well, if no one can break away from that huge DRS train, which we will probably see from lap 3 onwards.
Yeah, definitely so, and I think, honestly, in terms of the DRS, you're going to be sitting behind the driver constantly ahead of you throughout this first race, and throughout this first stint, I should say, and then you come into the pit lane. It's really going to be the pit stops, I think, that decide the order of this race, potentially. Of course, there's more penalties to be gained up in terms of the track limits as well, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that, and we'll try and run you through that, of course, here tonight. My goodness me. We are here, though, at the Jeddah Street Circuit. The average speed around this circuit is 150 mile an hour, the fastest street circuit on the F1 calendar, and probably the fastest one since, what, Valencia 2012?
Maybe Baku? I'm not sure. Let's go
Yeah.
big old straight. But, yeah, really fast circuit, so we should see also a short race. It's only 25 laps. But barring that, keeping in mind there will be probably a couple of safety cars, so we could be in for a longer one than expected.
Could be in for a longer one, but even with a safety car, I think you'll be managing less than 40 minutes around this track. And I've seen races where I think it only took us, what, 35 minutes, I think, to get it done with no safety cars and no VSCs. So, hopefully, that is going to be the call here tonight. Looking at the strategies, though, what a boring bunch we've got here in Division 1. Top 10 on the set of soft compound tyres, everyone else on the set of mediums, clear one-stop strategy. To me, top 10, they're going to be fine for the opening couple of laps, and then from around lap 5, lap 6, I think the softs are really going to start to lose their edge, and they're really going to start to lose in terms of their tyre wear. But drivers should be putting in, I think, still around lap 8, lap 9. Mediums, you could be pitting in, what, lap 14, 15, and then going for a set of softs?
Yeah, most likely that. Soft runners will need to try to keep the tyre temps down in the first sector, all first in long. So also the setup will have a huge impact on this track. And then also, my opinion is the hard tyre is absolutely underrated on this track. You can send it on it as much as you want, not having overheating issues. And it's only 6/10 slower on paper, but due to that temperature and the amount of pushing you can do, it's only a couple of tenths slower and comes into play at the end of the race. So probably no one will go to the hards, but that's my little tip and guess that maybe one guy will gamble on it.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe if there's a safety car or a VSC quite early on, drivers might start to gamble on those set of hards. And I know in terms of the set of mediums as well, I've seen drivers pit in lap 5, lap 6, and they can get 20 laps on a set of mediums, I think, done pretty comfortably without going over the 70% tyre wear. So it's all about managing, really, the tyres here out on track. Nathan has been disqualified from the session, I think, with a collision with Fleddy, which is not that great. But Conrad on top, Justas second, Campbell in third, of course. Top two in the standings, second and third. Campbell has to try and break the deficit down if he wants to try and win here tonight in, obviously, in Saudi Arabia. So Campbell obviously has got to outperform Justas from possibly to get the championship lead. But Conrad on top, Justas second, Campbell in third. Who on earth, Montana, is your top three?
I'm gonna go boring. Connor, Campbell, Justas. What about you?
Connor, Campbell, Justas, did you say that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go pretty much the same, to be honest. I think I'm gonna go Connor for the win. I think Jensen's gonna get second. I think he's got a good chance here. And for third, I'm gonna go for Justas. So we're a boring bunch here in the commentary box tonight. Hopefully, though, you're gonna enjoy this because it is gonna be over pretty much in a flash. So if you're ready, let's go and get the 5 red lights on. And hopefully, we do get the 5 red lights on. The 5 red lights are now coming on here in Saudi Arabia. Round 7 of the championship here in Division 1 about to begin. And it is lights on, away we go. Good reaction time by Campbell. Justas is gonna pull alongside on Connor, down in towards turn number 1, and I think Justas might just hold the lead. Connor forced out wide slightly. Justas now on the outside line for 2, and Connor holds the lead from Justas in second. Campbell there in third. Everyone, I think, has cleaned through turns 1 and 2 safely. Now we've come through into the real difficult section of the track. Both Alpines actually side by side. Pease and Fleddy going side by side there. Through goes Pease, he's up into 7. Kumbly is in the wall coming through turn number 5, so Kumbly in the wall might deploy a VSC. He's got back going again, which is good. Connor, though, leads the way. Justas in second, Campbell in third. Jeroen on the back of Nathan, coming toward the end of the first sector through turn number 13. Roots now on the back as well, and Fleddy is on an absolutely torrid start. He's down 4 positions from the start. Roots down the inside line, gets 8. Lovely job there. And now the soft runners can start to pull away. Connor, though, out on top. Justas second, Campbell in third. And initially, I thought Justas was going to get the run in towards turn number 1. He didn't, and Connor now holds a 7/10 gap over Justas.
Yeah, from practice with Connor, I can tell you, he's so strong around the outside of turn 1, so it's really hard to outbrake him there. So he kept his cool there, and now he's going to deploy his ERS. You can see him squeezing that battery like an absolute lemon. Justas interestingly underfueling. Connor as well, so they're probably gambling on safety cars, or quite confident with the fuel strategy, so that's something to keep in mind. They're running lower fuel. Fleddy, meanwhile, dropping through the pack now.
Ooh.
Just keeping in position there, so that was nice defending, but yeah, he has to defend quite a lot on this first lap.
Yeah, Packer tried to go around the outside of him, coming through the final corner, didn't manage it. The American still in P10, the Dutchman of Fleddy down there in P9. Kumbly, by the way, through the final corner. I'm just going to check up on it, see if he's got any damage. I think he has. He's coming into the pit lane. He's going to probably put on a set of, I would say, hard compound size to try and get towards the end of the race if he can, or just be a straight-up retirement in the pit lane. Connor, though, out on top. Justas in second. Front two pull away. Campbell is not living with this early pace at all. Jensen there in fourth is just sitting and waiting and behind, but Campbell just dropping outside of a second, pretty much coming to the end of the first sector, and the Scotsman has got to try and latch onto the back of Justas to try and get him within that second. At the moment, it is hovering between the second, even got a little bit sideways coming out of turn 13 as well, but Campbell's struggling to live up with the pace of Connor and Justas ahead of him.
Yeah, absolutely pushing every single bit they can. Connor trying to get away from Justas, Justas trying to stay with him, and then Campbell is just left over outside the slipstream range. Already on less than 30%, now 20% DRS. So that will be a painful couple of laps if he can't hang on. But now Connor's just trying to use his wings to his advantage here. If he can stretch that gap, he's absolutely gone, I tell you.
Yeah, I think he has absolutely gone. Justas in 8 tenths behind. 8 tenths is a pretty big gap to try and defend, obviously. But Campbell's 1.1 seconds away. He's used up a lot of deployment on this lap as well. He has saved up quite a lot of battery, but he's not going to get DRS down the straight, and that is absolutely crucial. Well, he won't get DRS down the straight because it's only lap 2. Campbell now onto lap 3. He will get DRS this time around, but he is losing more time to the likes of Connor and Justas just ahead, and it seems like the front two are absolutely on it here tonight. Jensen on the back of Campbell. He's under pressure as well from Nathan and behind. Nathan and Jensen, of course, came into blows in the FRL race around here, and Nathan will be hoping for a very good result in the Red Bull. He's there in P5, obviously with a strong result from third position last week in Britain, and it seems like that podium, he's buoyed by the confidence, and he can now try and pressurise Jensen into some sort of mistake. Just saying that though, Nathan's just made a slight mistake coming to the left-hander of turn 12.
Yeah, and Justas just about within the DRS range, but now he's going to be struggling. Everyone in the top three, all almost out of DRS as well. So also keep in mind the track limits. I saw Justas cutting at least one corner this lap already, so you want to keep the warnings down as much as you can, as they are now approaching the 1 second gap once again. Campbell absolutely dropping off. He can't match the pace from the top two, and he spent all his ERS, so Jensen will be absolutely over him soon.
Verstappen through on Nuth. I think Nuth might have damage possibly on the right hand side, I thought it was, but Verstappen is through. Nonetheless, we got that overtake done. It's a lovely move, but Nuth is really struggling. He's dropped a lot of time compared to Verstappen. And Verstappen there now up to 15th. Nuth is in 16th, but he's under pressure now from Ezza. Nuth has surely got something wrong with him in his car. We'll see what the German can do, though, as he comes down through the final corner. Get a little bit twitchy out of the final corner. Is Ezza going to have the run down in towards turn number 1? No, Nuth doesn't decide to bail it into the pit lane. Nathan on the back of Jensen, not quite close enough. Packer, though, is down the inside line and towards turn number 1. He'll try and get the switch back out of 2, but Fleddy holds swaying. Good defending there actually by Fleddy. He's there in P9. Might not have the actual pace compared to some of the Division 1 guys here, but Fleddy at least is being consistent in his defending, which is good to see, and he is keeping a big old train behind, and pretty much now got 3 groups really. Connor and Justas for the lead, Campbell all the way down to Ruta, and then Fleddy down to the rest of the field.
Yeah, we got a couple of groups now forming. Campbell dropping even further now, so yeah, he's having a nightmare at the moment. Maybe just taking it cautious, trying to score those couple of points he needs for the championship, and not risking too much, which can also be a viable strategy. But now we probably see the overtakes coming in pretty soon with Jensen, Nathan, Jerome all catching up to Campbell on the huge DRS race here.
Yeah, definitely so. Jensen coming through the middle sector, he is considerably quicker than Campbell through that middle sector. But now coming into the final sector, of course, the other DRS zone is, there's only 2 DRS zones, remember, on this game, compared to the 3 that there actually is in real life. Of course, the other one being down through 19, 20, 21 and 22. Packer, though, again launching it around the outside this time on Fleddy, and this is going to be a lovely move. He can pull it off the American around the outside of the Dutchman, but again, the Dutchman is very good. Here comes Jensen, though, for P3. Yeah, flies past him down the straight, and yeah, Jensen gets him down towards turn number 1. Campbell now down into 4th, and I think we're going to see a move, and I think we have already seen a move. In fact, Packer is through on Fleddy, and he's into P9, so good stuff there by Packer. And now I think Fleddy will be reliant really on Packer. He looks like he's got the pace, the American. He's there in P9, 1.8 seconds to gain. All the guys in front, especially Ruta, is going to fall over the back of Pease here, because Pease is really struggling on that set of soft compound tyre now. Packer can start to gain, and he can now latch the rest of the field back on to this pack, which I think will be really crucial for their chances in the race.
Yeah, absolutely needs to get back to the back of the pack. Just a little correction, there are actually 3 DRS zones in the game, but one of them is in a wrong place in comparison to real life. On the exit of the first sector there is one, but yeah, I don't know why Cody's haven't fixed that yet, but maybe on a next game or the game after that they can fix it. Justas is recovering now. He's built up his battery once again, so he's enjoying that. Campbell obviously now behind Jensen. Jensen is increasing the pace, maybe trying to get to the back of the leaders, but that'll be a really hard task for him, as the DRS zone coming into the last corner is so powerful, and if you're just close enough you can absolutely send it into turn 1 with no issues. So you just saw Justas gaining almost 410 without even pushing ERS, and now he might be close enough, but he's probably just saving a bit more battery now.
Yeah, Justas was just waiting behind, I think, on the back of Connor. Campbell, however, the man I'm on board with, is going to try and launch a move in towards turn 1. He's not close enough for the move, but he has recovered his battery well, which is good to see. Campbell there in 4th. Any moves happening further down the field? Verstappen could get quite close into Rocco and towards turn 1 doesn't. Nuth on the back of Izza. Again, not quite, and I'm not sure what has actually happened to this battle, because Izza was in that battle what, 2 laps ago. Has he got damage, perhaps? Has he hit the wall and obviously just backed everyone up in behind? Can't quite see if there's any damage on the car, but Izza, certainly in 16th position, he was on the back of that train 2 laps ago. He's now not, so I'm guessing either he's made a mistake or purely he's hit the wall somewhere and he might have some slight damage.
Yeah, I can't see any damage either, but yeah, they completely dropped off. So they'll be hoping to catch back up, relying on some mistakes from the cars ahead. But yeah, we still got the same kind of groups. Just Izza and Nuth and Killebrew now in a pain of their own.
Yeah, Connor leading the way though. Justas in second, up 6 out of 25. As I said at the start of the stream, second half of the race is probably better than the first half of the race. It is warming quite nicely, potentially for a battle for the lead between Connor and Justas. Jensen there in third, 1.9 seconds behind. He's obviously losing more time to Justas down the straight. Campbell is going to try and maybe launch one in towards 27. He doesn't get the move done though, coming in towards the final corner. And now he is considerably closer compared to Jensen this time around. And is Campbell going to wait in behind, or is he going to go for the move? I think he's probably going to wait behind here. He hasn't got any DRS in enabled. He's got to watch out behind though, because Nathan's right on the back of him, and Fleddy is now coming into the pit lane. So Fleddy is into the pits, I think from P9 or 10, as he comes in, and it's for a set of medium compound tyres. So the first driver into the pit lane, Fleddy, on that set of mediums. How much is he going to gain now, considering that the undercut is very potent around here?
Yeah, he just needs to get the tyres up to temperature as quickly as possible. The first one that has fled into the pit so far, as Jensen just runs wide and picks himself up a warning at the end of the first sector. But yeah, you said the undercut is potent, that's absolutely true, but you need to make it count. You need to push now, and then you can gain a couple of spots. And there's the DRS train, the tyre were not that important, that could be a big train move. We just last hope there's no safety car issues at the moment.
I think it's 17 seconds roughly between Fleddy and Packer, so that was the gap between 9th and 10th position really in terms of the leader. So Fleddy, as long as he gains that time, as long as he gains a second, I think he'll be fine. But he has lost a lot of time coming out of the pit lane. As Campbell now, again, on the back of Jensen, coming through the middle sector, coming now through the final sector, through 25, through 26. And do you know what? I think the Scotsman is going to be considerably closer than Jensen here. He goes around the outside, not even using up any DRS at all. And Nathan's going to try and follow through on this as well, as Jensen tries to lunge it on the brakes. Campbell, though, lovely move around the outside. And I wonder if he's going to come into the pit lane here. Yeah, Campbell's coming in for the pit lane. That is smart. And now Justas is attacking for the race lead. Justas goes to the inside on of Connor for the race lead. So Justas now through, and he's into the lead of the race. Connor just let him through there, and he's thinking to himself, yeah, I'll save a bit of my battery in behind. Campbell also came into the pit lane, by the way. Packer also went, and Fleddy coming out the final corner. Packer is still in his pit box. This is going to be quite close, I think, between Packer and Fleddy coming out the pit lane. We'll see on board. There is Packer on the right-hand side, and I think Packer's going to be ahead. Packer is going to be ahead, given the inside of the track. Is he, though? Yes, he is. Just about. Yep. Packer ahead in 17. Fleddy in 18. But undercut didn't work for Fleddy. He hasn't got ahead of Packer. And they're pretty much in the same positions as they were. But Justas taking the race lead of Connor. Connor just let him through that. Right call?
Yeah, I think at this stage I just need to work together, not to lose too much time to Campbell and others. Good move by Campbell. He had to pit, otherwise he would have been overtaken by both of them. And that's not something you want to experience. But kind of a big gamble pitting so early in that position, but yeah, Justas and Connor probably increasing the pace now. Also saving some fuel maybe, because they are still on a yellow fuel light in each other's slipstream.
Here comes Nathan.
You can just see that DRS is so strong here. Jensen isn't even derating, but he's
he lunges it down the inside line. Oh, and he just about gets the move done, Nathan, around the outside. Nicely done. Jensen had to force that move. Both of them now into the pit lane. Nathan through, and he's into third, and it's a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That needs to be removed because it was nowhere near the pit limiter. I saw that on the POV shot, and Nathan into the pit. Jensen, I think, tapped the back of him. I don't think he's got any damage, if I'm not mistaken. Nuther's done the same thing as well. There is a pit glitch, and Nuther's actually sped into the pit lane completely and is retiring the car. So Nuther's done out of the session. He leaves the session in frustration. Campbell, by the way, is ahead of Nathan, but Nathan's 5-second penalty. Eloise Stewart, if you're watching, that needs removing. If not, we riot.
Yeah, this pit lane entry is so buggy. It sometimes activates the pit limiter AI or whatever. So you have to be really careful, and he was probably 100 meters before the white line where you actually need to be in the pit limit. So yeah, thanks for that, Codemasters, but we'll just ignore the penalty and hope there's no safety car where it's served.
Yeah, 5 seconds basically can be taken off Nathan's time, so if you really put him in a position, if he's on the back of Justas and Connor, when Justas and Connor obviously pit in, which I think might be either this lap around or next lap around, we'll see what Nathan can do. Obviously, that 5-second penalty, it's ridiculous, to be honest. It is farcical, and that's why I think it should probably get removed. Ruta, by the way, to the inside on P's, and he wants a piece of P4. It gets the move done, and he's leaning into fourth. Have to try... yeah, no, I'm just going to leave that one. Justas is in!
There you go.
Justas into the pit lane. Connor stays out though.
Connor, yeah, we saved up so much battery and you will now be deploying it all. Obviously, mediums should be a bit quicker at this stage, but if you just manage the ERS and push a lot...
Goodness me,
not?
2 by 2 in towards turn number 1, sorry to cut you off. The McLarens are going side by side. Dylan, Neo, Rudy, Rocco, Verstappen, all falling lever each other. Dylan is through, he's into second. Neo in third. I don't know what I have rolled a ball with there, to be honest, but it was 2 by 2 Noah's Ark in towards turn number 1, and I think... Oh, it's Rudy gets very sideways coming out of 5 and 6, and now through 7, 8, 9, and goodness knows how many corners. Verstappen has just done Rocco around the outside of turn number 9. And has Rocco got damage? Yeah, he has.
Yeah, I think so. He hit the wall somewhere, so that's him gone absolute mad scenes in the first sector. So excellent racing. But yeah, mad stuff.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Nathan is ahead of Campbell, by the way, obviously coming out the pit lane. And he's 1.6 seconds off the back of Justas. Now, I think they've gained time compared to lost time compared to Justas, which is good. It's going to buoy them on. But Connor is coming through the final couple of corners. Through 25, 26 and 27. This will be the lap time where he does come into the pit lane. And he is gaining considerable amounts of time on Dylan. Connor, I think, is probably going to be comfortably ahead coming out the pit lane as he now comes out the final corner. Even using up that last bit of deployment into the pit lane. Now Connor comes into the pits. And luckily, he doesn't speed into the pit lane either. So, into the pit lane he comes. There is going to be an almighty battle, I think, for the race lead here down in towards turn number 1. Dylan leads the way, Neo in second, Rudy in third. But, aiming to come out in this pack, really, is Connor. And as long as he comes out ahead of Justas and behind nobody else, I think he'll be absolutely fine with it. As now Connor is coming towards the end of the pit lane. Where is he going to be? He's going to be comfortably ahead of Justas. In fact, Justas is ahead of him. No. So Justas is ahead. But Justas has hit traffic as well as Connor, and I think this is the worst case scenario, especially for Connor, more than anything. He's behind now, Izza and Killer Blue, who's obviously in a private battle, and they're going to be pitting later on.
Yeah, that's now the worst case scenario for Connor, because Justas can get some cars between them, and that can break the DRS for the future. Oh, that's a dangerous move. There's so little grip on the inside there, so Justas has to be careful, but just manages it quite nicely. But now Connor is under pressure. He needs to make the move on Izza, and then needs to get to the back of Justas after he clears Killer Blue as well.
What you said about there, coming through turn 13, Connor just hit the curb on the left-hand side and forced him off camber of the corner. Justas is trying to go for the move on Killer Blue. No, surely through here, in towards 23 and 24. Goodness me, tries to get the move done. I think waiting until 25, 26 and 27 is the best bet. And now Justas is going to fly past Killer Blue here. Little of a weave, but Justas is through. Killer Blue immediately gets back in the slipstream. Izza trying to close up as well. Is Connor going to lunge a late one on Izza down the inside line? No. Waits down in towards turn number 1. Dylan leads the way. Neo in second. Verstappen in third. Told you the second half will be better than the first half. Verstappen though, Dylan getting closed in now by Neo. Neo to the inside line. Fakes the move in towards turn number 1. Doesn't get the move done. Izza is down the inside line completely towards the pit wall there, but he's through and he's into 6 on Killer Blue. Killer Blue is the one that's struggling, and Connor is the one that's getting caught in an all wash of traffic, and he's just going to have to sit and suffer at this point.
Yeah, that's so painful. I can tell you from experience, that's the worst feeling you have as a league racer. Being stuck in that alternative traffic, which is rarely the case, but with this short pit lane, they just filled it out at the worst possible spot for Connor. Justas clears them one by one, and Connor is now 3 cars behind them.
Oh, I'm on the outside!
Goes around the outside. Come on, get it, son!
Shuley on the outside, he's got the traction, he's got the grip, Shuley. Connor on the outside, line of 14. Lovely stuff, Connor's through.
Oh, that's my guy.
And he's into 7th, and he does get the move done, and I think he's going to have Izza possibly up towards 23 and 24 as well.
Easy.
He's not going to go for the move. He's not. He doesn't want to risk it, and I think fair play to him. He doesn't obviously want to risk the position for the lead. Could have a 3-wide scenario, by the way, up front. Justas, by the way, is on the back of this. Did say Jenna would deliver. Dylan leading the way. Neo in second, Verstappen in third. Justas is now in traffic. He's now going to come around all 4 of them. Now coming through in towards turn number 27. He's got 1. He's got 2. Can he pull off the impossibility of 3? He goes around the outside line. Verstappen just lunges it down the inside line, and Justas has got 2 of them.
Perfect.
Brilliant driving. He's now going to get the third down the straight. Magnificent driving by Justas. He is through, and he's into the lead of the race, and he's just negotiating them like knife through butter. Connor is just sitting in behind thinking, oh my god, as Nathan lunges it, and he's got damage. Nathan has got damage through turn 1, and it's a bit like Wacky Racers coming through turns 1 and 2 as well. Killer Blue and Izza making a little bit of contact. Campbell's not surely going to dive this into the inside line of turn 5. And he's got a bit of end plate damage, I think, as Jensen goes around the outside of him as well. And this is the problem. You get involved in traffic bites back, and unfortunately for them, it's just caused all sorts of carnage in the first sector. On lap 13, at the halfway stage, Justus leads the way, Neo in second, Verstappen in third, and all might sort of battles are going on behind as Jensen goes around the outside of Killer Blue.
Yeah, I think Campbell just got away without damage. It's absolutely crucial for the championship. But yeah, that was definitely a big shock there, and absolute mayhem in the first sector. And Connor's still in P5. He's going to pick up Dylan here. No, he's not. Nope. He has got the setup and the wings to do it. Maybe
he might. I'm expecting him to.
DRS, he would have got him. He's probably thinking about that league ban he's going to get if he's got too many penalty points and we're only a third through the season. So easy switchback move there, and now we need to clear them both on the next straight. So he's using now to get to the back of them, which he will be. So yeah, he needs to make that double move now or never.
Ooh, Killer Blue and Campbell nearly side by side as well, and Campbell's going to go all the way around the outside of 27. That's a brilliant move from Campbell. Scotsman is through. I think Jerona's got to follow through as well. The fresh grip is really coming into effect. Verstappen down the inside of Neo. Can't keep up with everything. Connor down the inside of Neo, down in towards turn 1, gets the job done. So Connor soon he's into third. Again, a bit like the Wacky Racers. Killer Blue and Wooter now fighting out. Wooter dived at the inside of 2, gets the move done there, and he's up into 10. God almighty, we're probably missing all sorts of battles. Rudy just lets Jeroen through, which is good, and Jeroen now through, and he's into 8th position. Justas, though, has a 2.7 second lead over Connor, basically, and Connor now is going to negotiate Verstappen, which I think will be easy then towards turn 13. Is he going to dive it to the inside line? He will. The AlphaTauri, Verstappen's not going to put a fight up here, and Connor's through, and he's into second, and now Connor, he's lost 3 seconds pretty much as a result of all of that traffic. Is he good enough to make that 3 seconds back? It's going to be a big task.
He's good enough and he's angry enough to do it now, so he'll probably absolutely send it over the next couple of laps. He got more ERS, so that's an advantage for him. And I know he's hungry for that win, so he'll absolutely go for it. Campbell making the moves now as well, so crucial that he didn't get the damage. Beautifully executed. Staying with Jensen, and now they're both coming up to Neo and Verstappen and Connor as well, still in that leading that group. So still a bit of a DRS train. Peace and Killer Blue. So Killer Blue in absolute mayhem this lap as well. Rudy, I think, might have damage. He was quite slow and is leaving people through. So fair play. He doesn't get into the way. So yeah.
I think it's right side end plate damage, if I'm not mistaken, for Rudy. Certainly letting people through, unless he's coming into the pit lane this lap around, which he is. Killer Blue is also into the pit lane, so that makes sense. Rudy's let Killer Blue through. Killer Blue, by the way, nearly speeds into the pit lane. Verstappen has sped into the pit lane. He's got a 5-second penalty. He's into the pit lane, comes out right in front of the Aston Martin. Good job the Coldings in the game. Jerona's going side by side with Dylan towards turn number 4. Tries to get the move done, hangs him out to dry, and Jerona's allowed to do that. Wooter now going around the outside of Dylan as well. Lovely move that by Wooter. And Jeroen, and that is just a fresh grip coming really into play there. Jeroen into 5th, forced Dylan off Campbell the corner. He was allowed to do that, entitled to do that given the nature of the corner. And now Pease is going to follow through as well. And again, he's going to get through, and he's on into P7. So Pease excelling through the field. He's through, and he's into 7th. Dylan late, there was no pun intended, by the way. Justas leading the way, Connor in 2nd, Justas in 3rd. And now we've got a split scenario where drivers on a set of mediums are now obviously out of the pit lane. And now drivers on a set of softs, they're probably going to struggle to even catch back up to that group.
Yeah, and the softs are not the greatest race tires, so very difficult for them to make the moves, and there's quite a big gap. The thing is now with Connor, he's gaining now, but he might want to let Jensen and Campbell into the battle, which is a risk, but I would enable him to DRS boost each other. saying that Jensen is on 0% battery, so probably not going to work with that. And Campbell is now going to have a right go at him, as Jensen even has a big slide. And he's derating so much, so Campbell will think about the move, but he's also low on ERS. So, yeah, not looking great skipping through the pack here with ERS states, but almost all the people have now pitted on soft with Dylan, the last one coming in, I think.
Yeah, Dylan is into the pit lane, is he? Yeah, Dylan's into the pit. He's got from wing change. So, back on Trisilla soft companatize he goes. Did he come in specs? Because I've got the penalties up at the minute. I didn't see if he already pitted or not. I think he did. Nope. No, Dylan didn't pit?
No, he was still on the old mediums.
Ah, so he's got from wing change then. That's going to exacerbate really his losses, I think, in this race. He is luckily ahead of Rudy, though. That's going to be good. Penalties, by the way. Fleddy, Packer, Rocco, Izza, Dylan, Killerblue, Nathan, and Kuhnblai have all got 3 seconds worth of penalties. 5 seconds worth of Verstappen. Kuhnblai's now got 6 seconds worth. He's just picking up a penalty right on the back of Phil. Neil, by the way, going around the outside of Rocco and towards turn 13. Absolutely sends it around the outside of him. That's an insane move by Neil. Round the outside. On Rocco, who's nearly got damage coming off the wall there through 13. And Neil through and he's into P11, and I'm not surprised really he got that move done because he's on full up pressure tyres than Rocco. Rocco surely has got damage now on the right side end plate because he is struggling. Izza now is going to probably get him down the straight here. Campbell now through on Jensen in towards 27, gets the job done. Justas still leads the way. Connor in second, and you said he was angry enough. He has closed the gap by 0.4 of a second since the last time we saw the gap. It was 2.7, now to 2.3. Connor, a man on a mission, but a man on a mission is still going to be a struggle. Wouter, though, is going to get and absolutely pass Jeroen down in towards turn 1. So Wouter through and he's into P5. But Justas leading the way. Connor in second. Connor's definitely up for this, but as long as he's got those tyres in play, he's going to have to try and have a chance of winning this. And for me, it's too much of a gap to try and make up, I think.
Yeah, he needs to gain at least 2/10 a lap so he can actually have a go at the end. So that's quite hard to do on a track like this, but he's getting closer and closer, and they'll motivate him even more, especially if he can see Justas directly ahead of him. So he's trying, but at the same time he needs the result. But Justas is a great situation for him at the moment.
Definitely. So Wouter, by the way, I've been really impressed with his driving. Obviously, he's low on ERS. He's got 14% of ERS. Jensen is around the same. Jeroen's slightly more, about 6-7% more than Wouter. But Wouter, on the back of Jensen, coming now down in towards 20... not 25. Coming down in towards the end of the middle sector. Justas leading the way. Connor in second. Connor's now eating time out of Justas. 1.9 seconds. Campbell there picks up a 3-second penalty. And now Wouter on the back of Jensen. Surely it's going to be an easy move for the relentless driver. Passing the Shazoo man around the outside. In towards 26. To the left-hander in towards 27. Wouter is through. And he's into P4. And I'm really impressed with his driver. He's got the pace. He's coming through the field nicely. Campbell just out with a 3-second penalty. Wouter might be on the podium.
Yeah, Wouter just picking up the DRS there as well. Campbell, being a cheeky guy that he is, cut the corner to get out of the DRS, some would say, of Jensen, so easy move for
that's a late one! Now he's, you're rolling down the inside
turn 1. Also wants to have a piece of it.
Ooh.
Jensen obviously with 0% DRS, literally, and Jeroen trying to spot the opportunity, but Jensen just staying ahead. But now they need to keep up with the guys ahead, because Jensen is really struggling. Does he have damage? That's the question. Might have. It's quite understeery to look at. Yeah, he's definitely not feeling great in the first sector, and now he's dropped out of the DRS of Wouter.
Yeah, considering he qualified P4 as well, it was, what, 3.5 tenths off the pace really in qualifying. It understands to me as if he's probably got probably a mischanged setup, a changed setup compared to what he normally runs, and that is why obviously he's struggling here tonight. Jeroen in 6th position, now on the back of him, the other relentless man on the back of the Shazoo man. He's got 2 relentless drivers, in fact, behind him, in Jeroen and Pease. And Pease, obviously, again, looks really impressive, I think, here tonight as well. Connor, 1.3 seconds compared to Justas. Gap's coming down. I think has Justas got some sort of damage, because he's losing, what, 6 tenths a lap now, compared to Connor.
Justas is still doing the same lap times, but Connor just found 4/10 on the last lap. I think Connor is going to do a new PB as well, as Pease now gets past Jensen as well. So Jensen having a nightmare at the moment. Pease now moving probably past Jeroen as well down the straight. Maybe just opting to save some more ERS, but now Connor is just turning his engine up, it seems like, and risking a bit. And I think he just got his first warning while Justas is still on 1.
Could be 3 wide down the straight as well. In fact, Pack is into the brake lane. He must have damage on the car. Neo and Izza now are through, and they're into P10 and 11. They could have developed up into a nice 3 wide battle there. Verstappen, 3-second penalty as well. It's been disappointing from Verstappen. I mean, he's in P9, so the soft component tyre is really not working. It's the mediums that are the tyre to be on at this stage in the race. I can't believe I'm saying this. We have got 7 laps to go, including this one. Justas leading the way. Connor there in second, Campbell in third, Reuter in fourth. It looks to me as if it's between Justas and Connor. Who knows what's going to happen in the next 6, 7 laps or so. But Justas currently holding the lead over Connor. Connor a man on a mission. I did say 2 seconds, 2.7 seconds was enough to try and obviously not catch. But Connor, 1.4 seconds behind. He's losing time now compared to Justas, who I think has upped the deployment on this lap. And that's why he's pulling away.
Yeah, now I think what Connor has to do is stay behind again. Trying to not let Justas fall behind him, because Justas is now really struggling with the ERS, and if Connor can build it up, he can do a France move and just get him on the last lap. But there are real choices, where to leave someone past or where to be the guy in P2, and Connor starts just turning on the ERS out of the last corner, and he's moving inside at the ERS range, 30.0, so again, he's just so much quicker at this lap, and now it's game on.
We just saw
past Campbell.
Yeah, Reuter saunters past Campbell in towards turn number 1, gets the job done. He's into third, moves happening further up the field as well. Dylan down the inside of the final corner, gets the move done, and Izza down in towards turn number 1's going to get the move done as well. Look at the gap for Connor though. It looks like he's taken the one-off, one-on strategy in terms of his tyres at this moment in time. It's now within a second. Connor now within DRS range. He has got DRS range this time, and Connor can now begin to close it up, but the DRS is almost as if it faked it, to be honest. The DRS just went off when he came through. Justas leading the way, Connor in second, 9 tenths per second, now a second again. Gap beginning to extend out into the middle sector, I think, where Justas is more stronger compared to Connor. Final sector, though, Connor comes back, and now with 9 tenths to play with, Connor has got to get in this second to stand a chance of winning this race. Not over and done with yet, and it's going to play all in front of our eyes with 6 laps to go.
Yeah, it's so close to the DRS edge, but now I think he's got it. Yeah, he's got it now, and now it's going to open for sure. Now he's going to gain the big time. Look at that, just the 10th chipping away on the straight with the better straight line speed setup, and he's actually lifting. Okay, was that to save ERS, or is he just making sure about the fuel? As Justas is just about positive, maybe negative now on fuel, but interesting from Connor that he's lifting, and he's missed the DRS because of that.
Yeah, misses DRS because of that. Down in towards turn number 1. Justas leads the way. Campbell's going to try and launch one on Reuter in towards turn 1. That's late on the brakes from the Scotsman. That's a lovely move, though, by Campbell. He's into third. Nice move there. Reuter now completely outdone. And now he's got the relentless training behind us, Campbell. Reuter, Jeroen and Pease all wanting a real piece of the action here tonight. Campbell there in third. Reuter there in fourth. Jeroen in fifth. Pease there in sixth. Verstappen, I think, got through on Fleddy as well. So the softs now beginning to come into play for Verstappen. Don't think he's going to be getting anywhere above 8th position at this stage. Fleddy can try and latch onto the back of him. Connor again though, 8 tenths per second. It is a very, very quick race this. Justas leading the way. Connor in second, Campbell in third. This might be the early finish of the season, I think, at this point. But Connor now within 9 tenths per second. He's just going to use up a bit more deployment, I think, to try and get that to 8 tenths per second. As long as he's 8 tenths per second away, he can get on the slipstream and obviously have the effect to try and get reeled in, obviously, onto the back of Justas.
Yeah, he's now getting really close. Just going on board to see if he's again lifting into the last corner. If there's an issue, if he's doing something weird. Maybe trying to force Justas into staying behind. Yeah, Justas, he's lifting again. But this time he's close enough for the DRS, and yeah, now it's actually game on. Huge gap behind, so it's just those two fighting out for the win once again.
Connor feels so confident, I think, in that car at the minute. He looks like he's got the world underneath him, and it's all going to come into his hands with 2 laps to go, possibly. But normally, we see moves happen, final lap of the race, and that's where I think it's going to probably happen for Connor on the back of Justas. 6 tenths per second, the gap. Connor now within that DRS range, obviously. Campbell there in third. There's a lovely move by Neo down the straight in towards turn number 1. So Neo through and he's into 10th. Is 11th. Rudy is fighting out for the final point scoring position on the back of Dylan as well. He's going to get the move done in towards turn number 1. Plenty of overtakes this race. Oh, as Rudy's been tapped actually by Dylan. Slight bit of contact there. Dylan lets him go, and Rudy says thank you very much for that. And Rudy still in P12. That slight little bit of a wiggle, and there's a slight little bit of a wiggle in behind from Dylan. Say thank you very much, and that is the indicator of you're welcome. As Dylan has picked up a 3-second penalty, and has he got damage on the right side end play because he's struggling through the first sector now.
Oh yeah, the understeer seems to be quite. Yeah, he's got some kind of damage. Can't see it visually, but
Is it
the understeer
Sidepod,
is
perhaps?
massive. Yeah, some kind of damage he's definitely picked up. So yeah, that's game over for him in terms of points, I think. But we'll see if he continues. Campbell now really under pressure from Wouter and Jerome, which both are doing really well, as you already mentioned, and also Peace still in the DRS train, saving a bit of a DRS as well. So Campbell, with his penalty, is going to lose out big time if it stays like this. And is Connor thinking about the move? No, he's going half throttle on the straight, not to get too close to Justas. So Connor definitely doesn't want to be the guy leading him right now.
Wouter on the back of Campbell. Here comes Jerome, though. He's going to go for the move on Wouter. It's going to be a part in the Red Sea moment in towards turn number 1. He flies it around the outside of turn 1, and that's a lovely move by Jerome. If he can pull it off, he should have the traction. He's still there, though, Wouter on the inside line. He gets the back. So Wouter through and he's into 4th. Jerome there in 5th, and Jerome just didn't have the traction coming out of turn number 2. Wouter did. He hit the wall slightly. Obviously, just bounded back on the wheel rims, basically, of the car. Wouter now through and he's into 4th, but they lose time to Campbell, and that was absolutely crucial in that. Campbell now away by 0.8 of a second, nearly out of that DRS range. Justas leading the way. Connor there in 2nd. Connor's got 20% more ERS than Justas, and it's just a matter of if, not when, to be honest, in terms of Connor's move. I think, honestly, it's going to be the case of he's going to go final lap of the race, down in towards turn number 1, and he's now just going to probably explode away in terms of Justas. Justas leading the way, Connor in 2nd, 0.4 of a second the gap. This is building to an absolute crescendo here, but if Connor makes his goal too early, Justas will fight
Justas
back.
slowing down. Justas doesn't want to lead, so he lets Connor through, and now the mind games begin. Oh, I've seen this before, with people slowing down there. But yeah, interesting. So Justas now needs to make the first sector count. Is he going to get him back straight away?
No, they're waiting behind. Justas doesn't want to attack Connor
Yeah,
because Connor now knows Justas has got his number, and he's going half throttle down in towards turn number 1 as
look
well.
at Campbell gaining time then. If they play around too much, Campbell is just going to join him now. So maybe Connor's trying to back him off now into the whole train, but the mind games are on. And yeah, don't count out the next group then if they keep doing that.
Justas though, Connor through the first sector is so much quicker compared to Justas. He's 0.5 now clear of Justas coming through turn 11 there, and now in towards turn number 12. Justas though doesn't want to go for the move too early. Even if he goes for a move down in towards turn number 1, it's still too early. There's 2 other DRS zones, especially in towards turn 27. It could come down to photo finish. Jensen, by the way, has been overtaken by Verstappen. I didn't even see that. Verstappen through he's into 7th. Jensen now down into 8th. Jensen must have side pod damage on that car. There's definitely no front wing damage on the car, but Justas has Jensen, I should say, has definitely got damage on that car. Connor though, trying to now extend out. He's got one option, I think, and that is to go long to try and force Justas' hand, but Justas is just sitting and waiting behind. He's not using up any ERS, neither is Connor. 0.5 of a gap coming in towards the final lap of the race. Justas again on the back of Connor. Connor trying to back off, and Justas again backing off in towards turn 27. Connor leading the way. Justas in 2nd. This is going to come down to an absolute crescendo.
Yeah, Connor trying to go wide to bait Justas into overtaking him, so...
He's going to go too early.
Yeah.
Justas is going to go for it, and he's going to go too early, down in towards turn number 1. He's going to fly past him, but Connor now will have the advantage, because there's 2 other DRS zones, especially in towards turn 27. Connor, I think, has now got the upper hand. Justas has made that move stick. If he can outpace him now in this first sector, it's pretty much game over. If he can't, and Connor stays there with 94% of ERS, Connor is sticking with him, and Connor's got a chance of still biting this back and winning this.
Yeah, he needs to stay close now. Justas can't risk too much. He's on 2 warnings, so he needs to keep that in mind. But Connor, use your ERS on Justas. You obviously have to keep the deployment limit on your race. But Justas on 100%, is he trying to set a world record with the most DRS finishing a race? I don't know, but now is the time to deploy it. He's got one chance really, and he has to do it into the last corner of the last lap of the race. And now he's going to squeeze it like there's no tomorrow. And now you can appreciate this beautiful setup. Just look at the gap coming down. hundreds by hundreds, and he needs to nail the chicane now. Both of them do. Oh,
Connor!
Yeah, Justus
quicker
as well. Oh.
Connor's going to get the DRS though. Connor in behind on the DRS. He's surely going to get the moving towards 27. He has to send this. The AlphaTauri on the back of the Ferrari. It is make or break here. In towards the final corner. Justus holds the lead, but is it going to be a photo finish? Because Connor now in behind. He loses out the final corner. It's cost him surely. Justus now running toward the line. Connor's going to try and get him. Justus to the line. Hands on by 19 hundredths of a second. Connor in second. It's probably more like a tenth of a second in the end. Wouter in the end is third. Jeroen in fourth. Campbell with the penalties all the way down in sixth. What a finish there. Justus wins. Connor in second. And if Connor just didn't, if he got that final corner right, he might have just got him. But Justus hangs on. Ignore the graphic on the left-hand side. I think it's more of a tenth of a second compared to 1900s, but still it's a close finish. Justus, I thought he timed it too early. I was wrong. Justus wins, Connor in second, and Connor is bound to be banging his hands on his wheel, thinking to himself, why oh why didn't I didn't get that final corner right? Rocco was crashed through the final sector, by the way, coming into the final sector, but Connor there, second position, that final corner cost him. Simple.
Yeah, he should have used DRS a bit early in the lap to get closer and then try to move into the last corner. Maybe just faking it would have been enough for Justus to defend a bit more, and Justus, that little slide out of the last corner, that's gonna haunt him for at least until next week.
It will, definitely, and I think that cloud will be overhanging for Connor. That final corner, he just got too sideways at the final corner, and that's what cost him. I still think, though, if he got the final corner right, Justus probably would have just held on, because Connor just seemed too far back coming out of the final corner. Who knows what we could have seen, but we have just seen Justus extend his championship lead. Izzet takes Driver of the Day, awarded by the in-game fans, so congratulations to him on that. Justus, though, wins, Connor in second, and Justus, I think, in terms of that, he made the move down in towards turn number 1. I got a bit of a sense of deja vu between Jensen Cazizl and FRL last season, where Cazizl made the move go too early. He went for the move down in towards turn number 1, got the job done. Jensen was still close enough to come back at him, and pretty much exactly the same pretty much happened. However, this time, Justus and Connor were the two drivers, and Justus was the one who hung on.
Yeah, interestingly, yeah. Also, once again, a last lap battle, so you've seen quite many of them this season. I think both of them were the fastest laps of their races on the last lap, so gave it all. I don't know, I think it was a bit more than 1.9 hundredths of a second, but they had quite considerable speed, so it was definitely within a tenth at least. But big points for Justus. Campbell with his penalty dropping down to P6, so that's cost him big time. And when we are there with the drivers of the day, Ariel Wouter, whatever we call it, GG. That was a brilliant drive from him.
Yeah, I think Wouter definitely P3, underrated performance. Jeroen exactly the same, and P's, do you know what? All relentless drivers, I think, very underrated here tonight. Justus winning, Connor in second, Wouter in third, Jeroen in fourth, Pease, Campbell, Neo, Jensen, Fleddy, Verstappen ran off the top 10, Izzet and Rudy ran off the points, Packard, Dylan, Nathan, Killerblue, Kuhn, Bly, Rocco, and Nuth ran off the 19 drivers, and in the end we only had, I think, 2 DNFs in the end, with Rocco and Nuth being the 2 DNFs at the end of the race. We can now speak, though, to our race winner, Justus, and Justus, I was convinced you made that move too early, down in towards turn number 1 on the final lap. You held on literally by a hair's breadth out there. Talk us through it, because that was a thrilling finale.
Oh yeah, it was too close on the finish. Yeah, for the past 4 laps I was trying to give him the leads, to follow him, because I had low battery. He was on the race pace, he was clearly quicker. So yeah, I'm really happy I got the win. It's probably the most emotional I've been. Yes, very happy. So yeah, my thought process was I had enough battery, like 70 close to 80, so I wanted to push on the penultimate lap to pass him on the start-finish straight and then give everything. So yeah, I think it was really close, but it paid off. Yeah, very happy on this.
Yeah, and I think honestly it came down to who developed into the final lap, obviously not making as many mistakes as the other driver, and I think you managed that really well in that race. P1 finish for you. Obviously, you extend your championship lead as well. Must be very happy with that result.
Yeah, I saw the Campbell getting a penalty, and I think he's dropped to P5 or P6.
Yep.
I'm not sure. Yeah, this is a good result overall for me. Like getting this win, beating Connor, who was definitely quicker. Yeah, extended lead, perfect race.
Perfect race indeed. Montana, I'm going to come across to you. Any questions?
Yes, quite interested in the setup you were running, Justas. Congrats on the win, of course. You were running quite high wings, if I'm not mistaken, so how scared were you of Connor's setup? Because you saw how quick he was on the straights, and what did you decide to do, and how early did you decide to defend in the way you did?
He was quicker in Sector 1 as well. I was shooting bricks when he was chasing me. Yeah, it was... I heard he's running like 5 wing. I felt more comfortable with more front wing on the Sector 1. It wasn't too much, I ran 7 front wing on the race. So I felt like it's fine. Yeah, I knew his... If I'm leading before the ending, like 2 laps, 3 laps, he's gonna pass me and win. So I had to do something. Yeah, hopefully it worked out very well.
Yeah, congrats again, and looking forward to see you next week. James, what track is it next week?
I'm trying to find that myself. I can't even think myself. Hang on, I'll get up on the standings if I can when it loads. We are at next week. Bahrain next week. How do you think you're going to get on around there? Because I know in the past you've been quite quick around there.
Yeah, the pad drivers will make a comeback there. So it will be fun to see. I think I should be fine. I felt comfortable, but the last time I did the race was really early in the game. But yeah, I feel confident on the track.
That is very good to hear, and hopefully you can carry on maybe this championship winning form as well. Go and enjoy your evening though, Justas.
Yes, thank you.
And now we will move on the other side of the spectrum to the man who finished in P2. Of course, it is NSX Connor. And Connor, that final corner was where it all laid down, to be honest. I thought you were going to launch it into the final corner and then maybe cause a bit of contact. You didn't in the end, and you got so oversteery at the final corner. Was that the difference between winning and losing?
Yeah, I think so. And a bit earlier in the lap before the long straight, I made a mistake. And the gap went up to like 7 or 8 tenths or something, so lost it there as well. Otherwise I would have gone for it in the last corner, but I've had enough contact with other cars and I didn't want that to happen again this week. Don't need any more license points, but yeah. Congrats to Justas, so he had some good pace. It was hard to catch up with him. But I don't know if he made a mistake, because I caught like a big chunk. But apart from that, it was just slowly, like 1 tenth a lap, 2 tenths a lap. But yeah, points at least.
Yeah, points at least, and I mean a strong podium finish as well. Talk us to that race overall for you, because in parts in that lap, you were quicker than Justas, especially through the first and the final sectors I saw. Through the middle sector, you just didn't seem to have the setup. Was that due down to the force of the low wings?
Well, I made a last-minute setup change, which didn't exactly help in qualifying, but kept the rear a bit more under control. A bit less Tokyo drift. But I was just trying not to get warnings, trying not to hit the wall, trying not to do anything stupid pretty much. I knew I had the pace to catch up, get in DRS, but just didn't want to ruin it before I even got there. So playing it a bit safe just to make sure I finish. But yeah, decent race apart from that.
Yeah, decent race indeed. Montana, I'm going to come across to you. Any questions?
Yeah, congrats Connor on P2. A bit disappointed maybe that you didn't get a win, but how did you decide where to be on the last lap, or like how to approach a final battle? Were you always going to be the car behind, or did you think about leading and trying to get away?
No, it's near impossible to get out of DRS around here, so I just made sure I had a full battery. I wasn't too bothered whether I was leading or second going to the last lap, because the DRS is just stupidly powerful. So I was just making sure I had a full battery, just to sit on the button from the end of Sector 2 all the way to the end, but just the traction out the last corner killed me, because I saw Justas ran out of deployment or was under 10% or something, and without the traction issue. I think I could have got it, but still pretty close.
Yeah, and coming into Bahrain, I don't know where you finished last season because I banned that race from my memory for some reason.
Don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know either. How are you looking to Bahrain? Are you confident that they can match the Pad players?
No, that's a write-off race. That's the worst track on the game by far for me. So if I get points, I'll take it, but that's going to be aiming for P11 because I have no chance in quali. I have no pace around that track. Just about surviving it and trying to outscore Eustace and Campbell and all the guys at the top of the table. And then on to the next ones and try and do some more from there.
Alright, thank you.
Yep, go and enjoy your evening, Connor.
Cheers. See ya.
Very welcome indeed, and that rounds us off, I think, in terms of the interviews here tonight, which is very good. And as you can probably tell by the time, we have finished well early compared to the normal schedule that we run here, of course, which means drivers can probably have about 20 minutes worth of Gran Turismo sweat, if you did get Gran Turismo, of course, yesterday, like I did, which is a very good game, by the way, if you do want to get it. And obviously, Montana, that race was absolutely fantastic. Drive of the day, awarded by us, Wouter?
Yeah, Wouter, definitely. Great performance. Obviously, the top two were in a league of their own, but we've come to expect that almost. But yeah, Wouter and Jerome also, both awesome performance and decent race.
Yeah, very decent race indeed, especially tactical. Nearly reminded me of Verstappen and Hamilton in real life onto the final few laps there. But, as we've already alluded to, it is Bahrain next week, and we cannot wait to see you there, of course. If you do want more action, though, tonight, Division 2 and Division 5 are going to be live. I think it's Verstappen and Old School taking through the action tonight for Division 2. Division 5, of course, it is Packer and Killer Blue taking through the action for that. And hopefully, 2 races to be had, of course, here in Jeddah once again. We cannot wait to bring you more action, of course, on the channel. But for myself and Montana, I will leave you with these 4 words that I've been saying all week. We stand with Ukraine. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.
Goodbye.